are very popular, I think, on Facebook. They have them and they are talk.
Second film, people were very, very generous.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, welcome back. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Welcome back, welcome back. My name is Ola, coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Hopefully being having a good week. Yay! Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our vibe. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, how's everybody doing? You guys doing well? Uncle Patrick, I hail, sir. Good to see you, sir. The mom of five, shout out to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today. Okay, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go through some of the trendy topics, of course, and we're also going to make sure we get some lessons out of this today. I won't be here for too long. Uncle Patrick said, "Lagbaja omo iya muko muko." Yes, yes, yes. Shout out to JIK430. I see you. Shout out to Marriott. I see you. Good to see you. All right, so we do have some topics to cover today. All right, so we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to jump right in. And do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Go ahead and hit the like button right now. Subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back. This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number One Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here. All right, welcome back. So let's talk about Churchill, Tonto, Rosie. You know, Churchill says Rosie was never his legal wife. So if you don't know who these people are, Churchill is the ex-husband to Tonto Dike, a popular Nollywood actress. All right, so of course, I feel like this is the best way to open this show. The update on their drama over the last 10 years or so. And also a young lady called Rosie Mirror. Okay, so as of yesterday morning, Churchill took to his Instagram page to completely annihilate. That's the word, right? Well, let me use simple English. Completely deny that the divorce is even happening. Right. So over the past few days, I think Rosie has been alluding. I don't know if she directly said it, but she basically said she was done with whatever they had going on called a marriage. All right. She said she was done. She said she was okay with moving on with her life. Over the past several months, you know, there's been some kind of reunion between Olakunle Churchill and his ex, the actress Tonto Dike, who is now an evangelist, right? She found Christ, right? For the umpteenth time in her life, she found Christ. But this one seems like she's quite stable. She's always on the internet, you know, speaking in tongues, the whole 9 yards. So people are, of course, starting to fantasize that maybe they'll get back together. But then there's a problem. He has a wife at home, whatever home is, right? So he has a wife at home. But anyway, he's the wife in the last few days, I mean, a few months ago, she jumped on Daddy Freeze's platform. You know, she was quite defensive. Whatever she was saying, she was defensive, and then she also lied. Contrary to what she said in the past, that she never knew Tonto or anything like that. In the past, she said these were family, friends, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, she said they never know each other. It was just confusing, you know. But anyway, somebody's lying, okay? But anyway, in the past few days, Churchill jumped on the internet to come and tell us. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm kind of like daddy baby daycare today too. They're under the weather. So all right, so anyway, as I was saying, Churchill basically came out and said he's denying completely that there was ever any divorce. Why? Because he's claiming that there was no court wedding. He claims that there was never a legal marriage to begin with. Okay, he stated that they never had a church wedding or a court wedding, and that there was no such thing. The only thing they had was some kind of introduction. I was hanging out with Uncle Beno on his platform yesterday, and I'm sure there was, if you're part of the Real Fam, you noticed there was quite a bit of debate, back and forth. What is an introduction? What is not an introduction? The reality is that in the last 10 or 15 years, there's been quite a blurry line between an introduction and traditional wedding, in terms of how it is practiced. Okay, some people might sit down and say, but that's not what it's supposed to be. We know what it's supposed to be. We're talking about how it is practiced. Okay, so he's now asking that, where are the divorce papers? Where are these divorce papers that you claim that, basically saying there's a divorce paper floating around online. And he's asking, like, where are these divorce papers? This is a question he could easily ask his ex-wife to be, Rosie Mirror, but he decided to jump on the internet to ask us. And now we have questions, okay? All right. We have questions. Of course, there's a ton of narratives out there. He's also coming back to say, hey, they've never been friends. That the wife, the present wife, who is now ex-wife to be, has basically gotten defensive, and she lets the online narrative influence her decision making. That it's his work, it's his job to defend his family. A few days ago, I think I covered it here, because he was basically saying that he has the right to be in the life of his children, and his present wife should not be dictating how he should be in the life of his children. I get that, okay? I get that completely, but there's a problem. I have a question, and I have a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. What does this tell us about him as a husband? It's very easy to jump out on the internet, okay, and cast your own family, okay? It's very easy to jump on the internet and cast your own family. Yes, your ex-wife is still your family as long as there's children involved. Newsflash, your ex-wife is family for the rest of your life. Your ex-husband is family for the rest of your life. Okay, maybe not, but at least that's how you should treat it. Because if you don't treat it that way, you will self-sabotage. Momo 5 says, normally intro traditional are often done together, but I'd imagine it's also based on tribe. Honestly, what I've seen in the last 10 to 15 years is that they're either done together, or one is done and one person is calling it introduction, the other person is calling it traditional wedding. Okay, there's always somebody who is directly involved with the event, who is like, oh yeah, we're doing engagement today, or we say, we're doing traditional wedding today. Oh yeah, wait, I thought it was introduction. Wait, which one is which one? We don't know which one is which one. Somebody say, well, if a bride price was not paid, you cannot call it a traditional. Well, here's what I tell you. What Yoruba people always say. Yoruba people say, "Eni bimo funi, okro lali eni." The person that had a child for you is no longer just a concubine. Well, obviously you can't take that literally, but what that means is that you now have a responsibility. Once you have a child with a person, you now have responsibility much greater than whatever label you want to add on it. And that's why I'm asking that question. What does that tell us about him as a husband? Because now it's easy to jump on the internet, right, to claim that you were innocent, to claim that somebody is not listening to you, or all this kind of stuff. If you don't know how to handle this kind of issues inside, we will ask you, what does that ask you? And this is for everybody that's watching this. All of this, you can point fingers all you want. The bigger question is always going to be the questions that those four fingers pointing at you, what is it asking? I know it sounds like a broken record, but I have to keep, the systems that work in this life, they tend to be boring. You know why they're boring? Because they tend to work. Okay, so we can go back and forth about what is not, what is labor, but the reality is that you have children with these people and you're not able to keep your household in order. Or you can tell us that all two of them, Tonto DK and Rosy Mirror, are just problematic. It's up to you, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is that you're not capable of keeping your household in order. Legal, or not legal. He doesn't tell us anything with regards to your personal skill set as a husband or as a father, at least. So that decision should be joint, and Rosie in a way has no choice because she knew he has a child before she got down with him. Well, it depends, right? It depends on what the underlying relationship that they had together. Were they actually okay before he jumped out there and said, you know what, let me make amends with my ex-wife? But it's not fair. But she was the one that stole Tonto or stole Churchill from Tonto in the first place. All of that doesn't count. I'm sure you're stuck on karma and you're looking for karma and you want to make this about karma. Listen, there's karma na water. Karma is everywhere, okay? Unless you tell me you're a perfect human being, okay? If you want to keep crying for karma, you really want karma to start fighting the way you're asking for. Be careful what you ask for. I'm not saying there's no karma, but this issue is not really about karma. At least that shouldn't be your focus. Mine was 3 course, intro, traditional, me too now, normal. Actually, you can call it 4 course for me, because the introduction was quite different from the traditional wedding, which was done a day before the white wedding, and then there was a reception. Well, actually more like 5 events. It's more like 5 events now. Hey, Babes Wind, good to see you, Babes Wind. It's more like 5 events now. But as you can see, all of that doesn't really matter, right? You're a man, you created children with women. The more women you create children with, the more it's going to be required of you in terms of how you manage your home. And if you come out here on this internet, come and cry to us, for me, as far as the Prestige family is concerned, we will look at what you're saying and see if it makes sense. The fact that there was no legal marriage, clap for yourself. Good for you. Good for you that there was no legal marriage. That has nothing to do with your responsibility as a father and as a fake husband, if that's what you want to call it, because clearly you were doing anniversary. He was posting, since yesterday they've been posting all kind of anniversary posting that he had been posting, right? So sorry, there's no easy escape here just because there was no label of legal marriage slapped on it. Sorry. Even when you get to court, you don't really get to escape. It's not that easy. Okay, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trendy stories to cover. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Let's talk about let's catch up on the Klay and Megan Thee Stallion's story. Let's catch up on that, right? So if you recall, a few days ago, Megan Thee Stallion jumped on the internet as usual and decided to tell on herself. I told you, it's equal rights of opportunities of accountability here, okay? I believe there are about 50 different genders out there. I don't fall to any side of the gender. I'm sorry, okay? If you jump on the internet and you tell us stuff, you are probably going to tell on yourself. So she jumped on the internet and she basically told us that indirectly, she told us that she was dumped. Wait, what do you mean she was dumped? Look, she was dumped, okay? What happened? What it looks like what happened is that the guy, was like, he cheated. Maybe he cheated. It looks like he cheated, okay? Cheating is wrong. And then, he was caught. And then he goes, instead of him to deny and say, I'm sorry, I beg, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cheat. Instead of him to just, say, babe, don't leave me, babe, we're going to work on this, ideally, right? Instead of him to do that, you know what he did? He said, I don't think the monogamy thing is for me. Right, that's what he did. And guess what she did? She jumped on the internet, accused him of cheating, which we never confirmed, but that's what it sounds like, you know. And then basically told on herself, you know, by saying, oh yeah, I was playing housewife, I was cooking for you, I was handling your mood and all of that, you know. And then for you to turn around talking about you're not sure if you're a monogamist. Yeah, like nah, I'm not gonna accept that. But anyway, and then she acted like she dumped him. Nope, I disagree. My opinion is that she got dumped. Okay, that man simply did not care. I missed Toby and Tribe's comment earlier. She said, I don't think he paid the bride price because I don't see a Yoruba man paying bride price and thinking that it's not a marriage. I mean, maybe just a Gen Z Yoruba man. You never know, you know, modern traditional man type of deal. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the claim. So following up on that previous show, when we covered the last time, a viral clip from a UK podcaster, they call her Madam Joyce, has reignited the fire. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead. Let me see if I can find that clip real quick. Okay, of Madam Joyce talking, and then we'll take it from there. Listen to this video.
Know Klay Thompson before Meg Thee Stallion. We didn't know Stephon Diggs before Cardi B. And while these guys have more money than these girls have social and global influence. Meg Thee Stallion made Klay a global star, whether he wants to admit or not. These men like to use these women for come-ups and for social status because, like, don't ever get it twisted, girls. Social currency is still a currency. If you are well known in your circle and you are well respected, a guy can use that for social come-up because being with you makes him look good. If Meg Thee Stallion is dating him, he must be popping. He must be giving guys. You need to be very, very careful because guys are users just like girls. I would even say more. A guy knows when he has a woman that he can use to make himself look better. And I think sometimes the insecurity that we have in ourselves do not allow us to see what we are actually worth, what our currency is. But a man can see it. A man can see your value economically before you.
Who do these people be? Huh? Who the fuck do these people be? First thing this lady says is we didn't know Klay Thompson before Meg Thee Stallion. Lady, what the fuck is you talking about? Who is we? Is she talking about the five-time NBA champion?
About the Splash Brother, bro.
The Splash Brother?
That's what I think she's talking about.
You're not even in our country, baby. Why is you in other countries' business? Huh? You ain't even fuck mine and some business that's yours. This ain't even your country business. You shouldn't.
All right, so I'm actually going to play a couple of reactions. On that note, I'm going to play a couple of reactions. Let me play this one for you.
Guys are users just like girls. I would even say more. A guy knows when he has a woman that he can use to make himself look better. And I think sometimes the insecurity that we have in ourselves do not allow us to see what we are actually worth, what our currency is. But a man can see it. A man can see your value economically before you. And see ourselves the way that.
She just so like,
Why is she so invested?
I don't know.
Who is this lady?
I really believe who she's saying too.
No, she believes the shit she's saying.
God.
Didn't know who Klay Thompson was. Have you seen this shit, bro? Fellas, let me tell you something. It's women online like, nigga, you wasn't shit before you met Meg. We didn't know you. Fuck a nigga. He ain't shit. You finna be busted. Ladies, let me inform you of who Klay Thompson is. Klay Thompson is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you understand me? First ballot. He is arguably one of the greatest shooters ever, probably top 5. Probably top 5 shooting guards ever. This nigga scored 60 points one time without dribbling the fucking ball. This nigga is amazing at his fucking job. He has made $300 million in his NBA career. I'm not counting endorsements. Listen to me very closely, okay? He's 6'5". I know you like tall niggas. He light skinned. You like them niggas too.
All right, I'll play another one for you.
Status because, like, don't ever get it twisted, girls. Social currency is still a currency.
Press pause. Press pause.
Social currency. is still a currency. Social currency is still a currency. Social currency is still a currency.
Social currency is only currency for women.
What do you mean by that? You got to elaborate. You can't walk up on that one.
Social currency is only currency for women.
Because of what?
Because if a woman has a following, has influence, she can use her name to do certain things. Try doing that as a man.
If you had
Man don't got no social currency. Who is that?
Who is that?
What do you do?
But it's gonna be like, what do you do?
Who is that?
What does he do? He can't get in just because he fly. He can't get in because he just a pretty face. He can't get, even streamers, YouTubers, content creators, they have their own money.
That's true.
Rubber band bank, boing, oing, oing, oing. Like, come on,
that tab won't come to you at a.
So as a woman, you can have social currency.
We can't assume he wasn't smitten.
True.
Yes, the fuck you can, Mark. Shut the fuck up.
No,
Yo,
listen,
what is he talking?
yes, we can assume that. You said it 3 months ago we were talking about Megan. I said this shit is moving too fast because nobody falls in love that quick. And you were the first nigga to say, I fall in love that quick. I move him in 24 hours. I fall in love fast. I'm a love bummer. You said all that shit. And what I'm saying is he could be doing the same light-skinned rich shit that you just did. That's the fuck I'm saying. No, you shut the fuck up and listen for a second. What I'm saying is he might have did the same shit that your dumbass used to do. That's what the fuck I'm saying.
Clip these bum ass niggas up.
You get what the fuck I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you don't know what love bombing is. Now all of a sudden you don't know what it's like to be smitten in 24 hours, leaving with the club, and she stayed in fucking my house for 3 weeks. That's what the fuck you said. That's what I'm saying is happening here. That might have happened. Yes, he might have fallen out of love fast. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is you got a responsibility to say something about that and do something about it. Yes, assassin.
All right, so why did I play all of that? Okay, I play that because it just seems like too many people are too comfortable with assumptions, right? They don't take that, they just assume from their place of emotions. They don't take the time to say, well, and it's okay to say, I don't know. I always say that here. It's okay to say, I don't know, right? If you don't know, you don't know. If you didn't know Klay Thompson, you didn't know Klay Thompson. But for you to just come up with an assumption that, oh, he just wanted to use her, right? Without even know. Do you know every superstar in this world? Really? Do you? Like, did you pay attention to the fact that have you ever paid attention to the fact that there's so many other superstars outside of what you get entertained by, right? If you tend to follow a Mega Thee Stallion, doesn't mean, you tend to follow those kind of rappers. You follow those kind of rappers. But this conversation has taken the whole turn. Yesterday, I stumbled into a live stream where they were talking about, does Megan Thee Stallion represent empowerment for modern women? And that's the same question I'm going to leave you with. Does Megan Thee Stallion represent empowerment for the modern women? Now, you're going to actually attempt this without using emotions. You're going to think about this, right? Like a normal person, a regular person. It could be yes. I don't know. Because I can't make an assumption too, right? In your world, this could mean yes, a normal person actually see Megan Thee Stallion as a role model for my daughters. That could be the case. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. I don't want to make assumption, but it's a small practice. It's a small real quick exercise to see am I able to take time to think about something and not respond from my emotions. That young lady, she responded from our emotions because she's clearly the only truth in all of this is that she didn't know who Klay Thompson was. That's the only truth. But it's not everybody's truth. It's not any type of truth beyond just our personal truth, right? But that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. But let me know what your thoughts are about that. I thought it would be an interesting exercise to take with regards to your ability to be objective. All right. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. We have some other trendy stories. We'll be right back. Or maybe trendy topics more so. We'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoy this, smash that like, subscribe and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number One Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, welcome back. I have a very important topic that I want us to cover here for the next few minutes. All right, it's everything. Everyone says marriage isn't for everyone these days, but let's be honest. Is that a deep truth or just a shield to hide behind after they can't make it work, or maybe they know too many people that can't make it work? It's just something that I see. Again, I'll be debunking certain talking points here just for educational purposes. All of the talking points are true. Okay. The issue is where we're coming from, and oftentimes when we say these things. So I was having a conversation with a few Prestige family members, very intelligent people, of course, people that are accomplished, people that are emotionally aware, and one of them just out of nowhere just said, very like in a mic drop type of way, just say, hey, marriage isn't for everyone. And that always take me aback, like, why did they say that? Now again, the statement is not false. I've been hearing it lately quite a lot though, and the energy behind it is really what I want to assess, because let's be real here. You've probably felt that tension too. If you've been married for any long period of time, or you engage this conversation for any long period of time, you've felt that tension. All right, and everybody wants something real. You want connection, you want stability, a home, a partner who actually sees you. But at the same time, you've been hit with all of the noise on the internet. It's confusing. Everybody's an advisor. People telling you that marriage is a trap. Men always lose. Men will say that to themselves in echo chambers. Women always regret it. Marriage benefits only men more. Love doesn't last. All these different talking points as opposed to focusing on yourself. People might say, focus on yourself. Don't commit to anybody. Make sure they love you more than you love them. And somewhere along the line, it starts messing with your head. Why? Because it's not just the fact that it's true. You begin to question your own desires, right? You start wondering, am I naive for wanting marriage? And maybe, if we're being honest, you felt a little judged, just because you want what you want. You desire what an average human being wants. So you just, you want marriage. You want it to work. But something in you is telling you have this conflicting thing in your head saying, well, marriage is not for everyone. Well, I want marriage. Now, back to that conversation, right? I asked them, I said, what do you mean by that? And of course, they double down. Some people just are not built for marriage. It's not for everyone. And again, on the surface, it sounds like it's logical, right? Because it is logical. And then I asked the real question, are people choosing that, or they are reacting to failure? Well, it sounds like, it start to sound like I'm selling marriage. And I hate to be put in a position where I feel like I'm selling marriage, because I don't think it's something that you have to sell, personally. It's either you want it or you don't want it. But here's the problem. There's a lot of confusion out in social media land, okay? And the uncomfortable truth can be difficult. Well, truth is bitter for all of us, right? Isn't that true? That's the truth, right? And people don't want to say the truth because they don't want to offend anybody. They want to be diplomatic. I'm one of them. I'm a chronic diplomatic person because I care about how the message lands more so than my ability to tell the truth, because my truth is just my truth. It's not necessarily other people's truth, right? So a lot of people will say marriage isn't for everyone, and but yet they haven't opted out of marriage. They say what they say. It feels good in the short term, People might say, what about all those people that are married? If you ask them long enough questions, you make them feel comfortable long enough, they start telling you about all the worst case scenarios about marriage. Lo and behold, now we're getting to the point, right? Is it because they failed at it, right? A lot of people are failing at marriage. That's the reality. So, and that brought me to this topic, and that made me wanted to talk about something that nobody else is talking about. Because listen, it's not about judging people, right? Pain is real. Divorce is real. Heartbreak will humble anybody. Okay? We call them breakfast, right? But emotional intelligence means we don't let our pain rewrite reality. When you look at the data, long-term partnerships, especially stable marriages, are still one of the strongest predictors of emotional well-being, financial growth, even physical health. Yes, for both all sides of all genders. And you have many institutions out there. They've done many studies. Okay, we're not just talking about independence. We're talking about what sustained fulfillment over decades. Okay, so in other words, you cannot use 2 years experience to determine the truth about this. So this idea that marriage is outdated or not for everyone, we need to start digging deeper into not just the saying, which is true, but why do people feel the need to say that, right? It's not coming from evidence, obviously. It's coming from experience. And we like to hear more about that experience, but this is the internet. So I don't advise anybody to tell too much of their experience on the internet, because you can, in fact, be dragged with it. And sometimes, can I say sometimes, bad experiences. It is what it is. So back to that conversation, and one of the people I was having a conversation with was, was able to lean in and, and say something that really stuck with me. I think people still want marriage, yes, but they don't just want the responsibility that comes with it. And there it is, because what people actually want is often different from what they say they want. Okay, people just want emotional safety. They want companionship, right? They want loyalty. They don't necessarily want a husband and a wife. They want shared responsibility, shared life. But so these things are good things. There's no good things that come in life without discipline, without growth, without tough, difficult truth, accountability, right? Nothing good in life, nothing worthwhile in life comes without the work. And the issue is that people keep waiting for each other to do the right thing. If you do the right thing, then I will do the right thing, right? If you do the right thing, then I will consider if I can do the right thing. Well, you made me do it. Well, I know my behavior has been bad. Well, I know I wanted to run away from the relationship. I know I kind of fell out of love with my husband, but he made me do it. Right? We have serious problems. But, it takes patience to get to this part of the conversation, because oftentimes the last thing I want to do is start to argue with an obvious truth, like marriage is not for everyone. That's an obvious truth. But because I have these conversations all the time with clients, I kind of know where that's coming from. But I'm not allowed to make assumptions too, right? So it's a very difficult place to be. I'm telling you right now, if you have this one talking point and many other talking points, you might want to start checking them, right? Are you saying them because you're guarded, skeptical about marriage? Because you have the right to be skeptical. Are you saying that because you're emotionally exhausted, confused about what's even real anymore? Because people will join hands with you in marriage, and they're going to show different behavior. So that makes you feel like they've been pretending all along, right? Well, people pretend. Pretend is another dangerous word, right? Is it really that simple? Right? Can you at least say, maybe marriage isn't just for me? Me. Say it to yourself personally. Like, just take a pause, right? Have some clarity. It makes sense to feel the need to protect yourself. After hearing too many bad news about marriage, it just makes sense. But if you don't own it, you're not going to be able to solve that problem, because the focus is now on the wrong problem. Because the reality is that some people actually have figured out marriage. Dare I say, majority of them, it takes them a while to figure out marriage. Some people make it, some don't make it. You might want to call it, some people are lucky, some are not lucky. Right? But let me give you a tactical win, something you can do today. Instead of asking yourself, is marriage for me? Let's even squash that for a second. Ask yourself, what kind of partner, what kind of person am I in a relationship? No, forget that. what kind of partner, what kind of a husband make a healthy marriage? It's a better question to ask ourselves. Because again, the only truth here is that some people have figured it out and some haven't. That's the only truth. Be specific with the kind of questions you're asking yourself. You can even talk about things like character traits, communication styles, emotional habits, and you can even flip it to yourself and say, am I currently aligned with that version of list that I'm coming up with? Because attraction, long-term attraction, is alignment, right? It's no longer just about, it's not just no longer just about tall, dark, and handsome, right? It gets a little bit more, it gets a little bit deeper, some more substance into that, right? So, anyway, you need to start refining that conversation. All of us, have a responsibility to start refining that conversation. We need to stop reacting, okay? We need to start preparing, because the reality is that you're going to have sex with people and potentially create children, okay? In fact, that reminds me of a chapter in the book, Get My Marriage Back. But you know what? That one is scrolling through the screen. I'll bring that up later on. See, a lot of people want the outcome, right? But they don't want to build the internal structure of what it takes to sustain healthy long-term marriage, relationships. And what the gap is showing us is that people are not doing the work. Work is hard, but work is worthwhile. They literally they're just very dismissive about the whole thing, the whole idea of work. I beg, go sit down somewhere. Here we go again, right? But I don't know who is listening, I don't know who is listening. Again, defensiveness is one of the predictors of divorce. But guess where that statement comes from most of the time? Just take the time to think about it. The statement, marriage is not for everyone, it comes from a defensive place. It's less about the truth. It's more of a coping mechanism. Okay, and don't get me wrong, marriage is still not for everyone, but not in the way people are using it today. Okay, because the same people that claim marriage is not for everyone, just wait long enough, they'll tell you that they're trying to tell you something. It's not about being too evolved, as they claim. It's about whether you're willing to grow into the required discipline, emotional intelligence, gentlemen, the leadership it requires to keep a household together. Because at its core, marriage is not just romance. That's the honest truth. It's strategy, it's partnership, it's long-term thinking. It requires leadership. Leadership and partnership are not mutually exclusive. Okay? They can both live together. And those things demand a level of self-mastery, self-awareness that most people, they're simply avoiding. So when you hear someone say marriage isn't for everyone, don't just accept it at face value. Okay? Listen deeper. Okay, don't attack them because they won't tell you the truth. That's a fact. Listen deeper, because sometimes what they're really saying is, I don't have the tools. I feel a type of way about marriage. I'm not sure about marriage anymore. And that's fair, because again, a lot of people move mad inside of marriage. Sometimes they're just trying to say, I didn't choose wisely in the past. I didn't sustain it. Right? And instead of turning that into growth, what they usually do is they turn it into philosophy. They turn it into philosophy. But here's the real question. Okay? Are people truly choosing a single life for freedom? Or are they using it as just a narrative to hide the fact that they just couldn't figure something out? Something is missing. It's a question that I have for you. All right, it's a very honest question. I'm hoping that I can get some answers for it, because I listen, I do not judge. I listen, I don't judge. Hey, Biba, sorry about that. I missed Biba coming in. Hey, Biba, good to see you. Uncle Patrick said, marriage is not for everyone. And I quote, just like people say college degree is a scam. Exactly, sir. That's exactly the point I've been making for the last 2 or 3 minutes, right? Is that true? Right? Is education truly a scam? Maybe degree, but what about education? Is that truly a scam? Right? Uncle Patrick said, just like colleges, marriage is an institution. You need to be schooled, and the qualification be enrolled as a student. Yes, sir. I couldn't say that any better. Toby and Try says, I know you're pro-marriage, but what about some people that already have kids and enjoy living alone, but still want a faithful and loving partnership without getting married? Hey, they get to do that. They have the freedom. Thank God for 2026 and beyond. They simply can do that. They generally are not the one that says marriage is not for everyone. They usually are not the one that says marriage is not for everyone. People that say marriage is not for everyone would tend to find it offensive if you don't see them as marriage material. Go figure. Why? I wonder why they would take an offense to that. Yeah. I think for the most part, there's exception to every rule. Yes, I am pro-marriage. I don't sell it because I don't think we need to sell it. Because if a person wants marriage, they want marriage. You don't have to sell it to them. But yes, I am pro-marriage. I recommend that if there's any such thing as a person that needs conviction. Well, like if I need to convince you that you want marriage, I'm not sure if you can survive marriage. That's the problem. That's the problem, you know. Yeah, I'll be scared for you too. If you already don't want marriage and you need me to convince you, marriage, just like life itself, is tough. And I know you will come back and blame marriage for it. And I'd rather you just be single and happy, you know? Yeah, so that's the thing. Those people, of course, they exist, but they're generally not in this kind of conversation. Generally, there's exceptions to every rule. But I'm open to read some more comments on this topic. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you are notified. Let me say hello to my sister first of all. I think that's Tonya. Tonya, hello. She said excellent analysis as always. Thank you. Good to see you, Tonya. All right, so hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and #1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation. This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and #1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, welcome back. Shout out to Uncle Beno again. Uncle Beno was over the past few days. I've been hanging out with him. I'll see if I can also drop in again today. Check out Uncle Beno on Uncle Beno. He's such a good guy, you know, but I'll tell him more about that one later on. But Uncle Beno is as authentic as they come, okay? When Uncle Beno is yelling, he's yelling. He means every word, right? But when he comes down, he means every word. And when he's engaged in the conversation, he means every ounce of that conversation. I want to say I appreciate him for that. So we're going to continue to expand this conversation and work together with him to expand this conversation. But right now, again, he had been talking about agent of chaos. Shout out to Janet. Shout out to Janet. Janet, apparently, she said men are agent of chaos. That men are agents of chaos. And I was like, oh wow, you know. So we did an analysis of men are agent of chaos, but as of yesterday, we're kind of concluding at the idea that maybe women are attracted to bad guys. Okay, maybe women are the one who are attracted to bad guys. Shout out to Abby. Hey Abby, I kind of suspected you were behind the scenes always, but good to see you, Abby. Abby was one of those people we're having conversations with over there. So, but I wanted to come here and do an analysis of that. Okay, why are women attracted to bad guys? Now, as many women as you can imagine, they've concluded, okay, at least on Uncle Beno's show, that men are in fact agents of chaos. But let's not pretend we haven't. We haven't all seen the word, right? we've seen just our experience. But again, we can also safely analyze and just conclude that certain things, okay, maybe not agent of chaos, but women love bad guys. And I want to take this couple of minutes to analyze, expand on what I said earlier on Uncle Bendo's show last night when I was hanging out with Abby, on why I think there are 3 reasons, okay? But I don't want us to pretend that we haven't all seen the bad guy who's inconsistent, unpredictable, a little reckless with people's emotions, somehow always has the attention of the ladies. And you're sitting there, you're thinking, how is he winning? Now, we could probably say the same thing about other genders. You notice I say other genders. There's about 55 genders out there, right? But we might ask, like, how is he winning, right? So, again, while I was having that conversation, quite a few things came up, but something that keeps standing out is a couple of things. Patterns, psychology. We don't always admit it, right? We might go back and forth for 5 hours. Shout out to Uncle Beno before we get to that part of the conversation. A lot of these are driven by psychology, right? They're driven by patterns, okay? By behavioral patterns. And one of them that keeps coming up that I would probably extract with this question, like, what does this seem like, right? What does this seem like after you don't collect, right? You look back and you say, he was chaotic. But if we really do the studies and map it properly, if we do the studies and map it properly, was that what you were attracted to? You see, oftentimes we end up resenting what we attract the most. Shout out to Uncle Bendo for the for interjecting me with $10. You interject me with $10, I will have to dance. Shout out to Uncle Bendo. I'll be right back. All right, shout out to Uncle Bendo again. So, thank you for the $10, Baba. I appreciate that. All right, so we're talking about the agent of chaos, why women are attracted to bad guys. So, when we're having a conversation, I thought about you, Prestige family, because if you're watching this, you've probably felt something very specific, something close to that, and it's not just confusion, it's frustration mixed with self-doubt. You've done things right, you were a virgin, you've been consistent, gentleman, you were a good guy, respectful, intentional, but somehow, somewhere along the line, you notice that didn't always translate into attraction. Your lady respecting you, your man respecting you, or loving you, or letting you get away with bad behavior every now and then. He checks everything. Everything is like he's always nagging about everything, right? So maybe you've heard things like you're too nice. So some men are really starting to pander around each other now. Say, some women are just evil. They will dump you. They will divorce you. They said there's an athlete wife somewhere who divorced simply because he was too nice. I said, Baba, if you had studied enough, you will know that there's more to that story now. You might have heard things like you're boring, you're predictable, they ginger me, you're too safe. Yes, women don't want you to be too safe. I know, newsflash. Okay? Like, you being safe, you being a nice guy, you being kind might sound like a compliment on the surface, right? But yeah, I hate to bust your bubble. That's not how psychology works. No, it's not. I'm not talking about your intentions. I'm talking about everything else that you couldn't see, right? So, on the flip side, if you're a woman, ladies of prestige, I'm sure you're watching this and you might feel a different kind of tension. You know the chaotic guy isn't good for you. You know it, right? You see the red flags. You see it clearly. But somehow, the emotional intensity. It's just drawing you near, How do you know that? You start to justify his bad behavior, right? You see, you feel the highs and the lows, but kind of sort of no, but not really. But it's so unpredictable, but that's exactly why you're so drawn to him, right? So it becomes another project for you, right? It keeps pulling you back in, and maybe you've judged yourself. Maybe you felt like maybe it's just me. What is wrong with me? Maybe you have a little bit of Ongbanji instead of you. Why do you keep attracting bad guys, right? Why do you keep choosing wrong? So anyway, back to that conversation. Over the past few days, been quite a bit of back and forth, but what it came down to is the psychological triggers, right? The psychological triggers that those guys they activate in you, right? Yes, agent of chaos. It doesn't always, you don't see the full result of their chaos until later, right? But after after you don't chop breakfast, after you don't collect, where are my buttons? After you don't collect, now you start thinking, you start to apply logic. You say, but the logic is still false. It's still false logic, right? Because you're still human, right? And the first one is the dopamine trap, right? If you've done enough studies, you've seen this somewhere. The dopamine trap, when someone is consistent, emotionally available to you all the time, predictable, the brain stabilizes. That's good for long-term health, of course, right? But it doesn't spike excitement, right? It doesn't ginger you, right? But when someone is inconsistent, I know it's weird in a very twisted way. So when someone is inconsistent, right? Hot one day, distant the next day, the brain goes into what you call, what we might call a reward loop, right? It goes into, it's like an intermittent break. You know that show you went to, and if it's too long, it gets boring. But when they give you like a little bit of, they call it intermission. When you go to like Broadway shows and stuff, right? It allow you are able to soak in a little bit, and then you're able to reset and then come back to it. The brain needs that. It's a need. It's a human need. It's the same reason why humans will need security at the same time need variety. They want predictable, but they want unpredictability at the same time. They don't want, like, nobody likes to. I don't like to be bored too. Right, so you can imagine women don't like to be bored. It's the same mechanism behind the gambling addiction, or any form of addiction for that matter, right? You don't know when the reward is coming, and that keeps you excited. So when it does, it hits harder. It gingers you, right? As opposed to you already know it's coming. Like, it's the same effect you get from surprise, right? And there have been studies from multiple different organizations, right, that consistently show that unpredictable reward patterns create stronger emotional attachment. Okay, it's a consistent thing, right? So now we need to get to that part of the conversation. What do you do with that? If you know you're just a regular human being like the rest of us, right? What do you do with that, right? So it's not necessarily the love that's intensifying. It's uncertainty, right? It's not the maybe this person showed that they love me, just to show you, like, well, on the surface you can interpret it as that. It's okay, it's fair that you interpret it as that, right? But the second thing I want to talk about here, the first trigger is dopamine, like I said. The second trigger is the illusion of status. Okay, the illusion of status, right? Some people will say rules are for people who need protection. Well, who doesn't need protection, right? I need protection. You need protection. You need to know what's about to happen ahead of time. You need to be proactive, right, about securing yourself in that relationship, right? But it's unrealistic to expect that you're capable of doing that long term. Okay, so some people, rules are to be broken. Okay, they are to be broken. Rules are to be broken. I know, right? Are you trying to encourage people to be breaking rules? Baba, I'm telling you that the reality is that people will break rules. Okay? When a man ignores social norms, right? even up to even up to talking toxic red pill stuff on the internet. Some of you are attracted to that. That's why you keep going back into that conversation. Yeah, you know, I don't expect you to admit to it. It's okay. All right. Right? I don't expect you to admit to it. But even when it comes down to simple things like, you know, he texts when he wants to, he disappears when he wants to, he doesn't seek approval, right? All of that can signal subconsciously that he has options, he has power, he has leverage. And now, whether that's true or not, it's a different conversation, a completely different conversation. But here's the reality. Perception is reality. Perception drives attraction more than reality in early stages. The earlier it is, the more that gingers you, right? Over time, stability, of course, you know, hopefully with some wisdom, you can find the balance in all of this, right? And many women interpret that instability, that danger, right? They interpret it as capability. Again, this is not something you have to admit to. Okay, just go back to in front of the mirror and assess it. Okay, they interpret it as capability, not cautiously, right? Particularly emotionally. So what feels like risk can be misread as strength. Okay, and the third piece of all of this is the fixer ego. Abby called it a fixer upper yesterday. The fixer upper person, right? The person that's looking for projects. It's actually ego, right? Some people call it the fixer ego. And that's a part of the human psychology that wants to feel special, right? You feel like you're the only one. You feel like, you're special. You know, as I always say here, you are special, but not really. But kind of, sort of. But, you know, so, but you know, let's use another word. Let's use chosen, right? Irreplaceable, all right? So when a man is chaotic with everyone, but shows you just enough vulnerability, just a little bit, tad bit more vulnerability, just a little bit of softness, right? It creates the belief that you're the only one who understands him, right? Again, special, right? All right, so, and it makes you start to like, you know what, that little part, that place, if you don't could you know, I can fix it. I can fix it. You're like, don't be a fixer, don't be a Bob the Builder as a auntie. You haven't fallen in love. If you fall in love, you'll be precisely a Bob the Builder. You will try to build a man. So some of us is that don't build, support. Your role is support. Don't be a builder. But, you know, if you fall in love, God helps you so you can listen. All right. So that belief that you can build him can become addictive because now the relationship isn't just about connection, right? It's about a purpose. And you know, purpose is a human need as well. When I say purpose, the P in the GPS, right, which is a whole chapter in our book, right? I always say purpose driven by pain, right? Because I know that oftentimes if you haven't been through enough, you probably can't comprehend true purpose, right? You can't, because you need that frame of reference, right? So, but again, with this false sense of purpose, you're no longer just a partner, okay? You're now the solution to his chaos, right? It makes you feel like you're complimenting him. It makes you feel very powerful, right? Until it becomes exhausting, of course, in due time. All right. So let's come back to reality, because this is where most people get stuck. Okay. What are you saying? All right. I'll tell you this. Like, if you're a man, you might hear this and think, so I have to become toxic to be attractive. No. No, you go collect. All right. You go collect. Your breakfast will be premium, because remember, eventually she gets exhausted. Okay. And if you're a woman, you might be thinking, so I'm wired to choose dysfunction. Also no, right? What this is really showing you is the gap between attraction and sustainability. And this is where the real problem, more likely than not, because right now it's 2026, the real problem in your love life, this is where it might begin. You're either attracting based on intensity, okay, or building based on stability, right? And you have to be, some people are natural at it. Some people need to learn how to You have to actually almost build a solution for it, right? How do you balance? Because the intensity is attraction, and you still need to be advised that you're still attracted to the person you're trying to be with, right? So it's not just as simple as discarding intensity. You're a human being. You need to feel, you need to fantasize sometimes, okay? It's a way, it's escapism, which is also another reason why some, it's that's your bonus reason why people are attracted to chaos, okay? You need to feel a decent amount of that, because life can get boring and you don't want a boring life, okay? But oftentimes people end up in cycles, right? They end up in a very toxic cycle, exciting but unstable, stable but uninspiring, right? And that becomes a problem for a lot of people. And sometimes the result of that doesn't show up until much later, maybe years later, right? So what is the balance here? I don't like balance. I don't like balance that's created outside of you. When you say balance, the balance must start with self, must be grounded in self-leadership, self-awareness, GPS, grounding, self, purpose driven by pain, okay? I don't like balance when all of the balance is between genders. By the way, there's 55 genders. Oh, sorry, 53.4, right? So that gender thing, is starting to melt, right? But particularly from your self-leadership, focus on yourself, okay? What you're looking for is you still want unpredictability, but you want to, you're better off in a controlled environment. Controlled environment, what is that? It's someone's lifestyle should tell you everything you need to know. Their lifestyle needs to be stable, okay? They can still be attractive, but their lifestyle needs to be kind of stable, right? Right. So the examples we gave, like someone calling you or texting you when they feel like you should have some sense of stability to that. You can't have someone who is just living a very chaotic lifestyle. And now the point here is that there is still balance, but it must be rooted in self-leadership. Okay. And that will be the difference between chaos and mastery. So if you're a woman of a certain age, it's something that you need to take the time to learn. Man and woman of a certain age, meaning you're above 30. If you're above 30, you can no longer afford to say, well, they said I'm attracted to chaos, or they said they like chaos. No, Baba, you will collect. The longer it takes for you to collect, the worse it's going to feel. Okay, so all of that, we said all of that so you can understand the underlying psychology of human beings, okay? Variety, you can introduce variety into consistency. Consistency overall, over time, will make a woman feel safe. Short term, if she's young enough, she might be excited about your bullshit. She will dump you later on. And then you come back and tell me, I thought they like toxic. Well, you can't put human beings in a box. That's the point. Okay? You're not a robot. Human beings are not robots. You can't put them in any type of box. Sometimes change environment. Sometimes change how you show up. Throw some spontaneity into your situation. And married people don't have sex in the same spot all the time. Unless you find that balance, okay? There's a place where you get to where you just find that stability, right? It's sweet, but it takes time to get there, okay? Don't be in the rush. Don't rush your partner into that space either. You're boring. I won't be surprised if he dumps you or she dumps you. All right, so unpredictability in experience, there are ways you can do that. Depends on your specific story, how you move in your relationship. There are ways to do that. If you're a woman, shift your focus from how someone makes you feel a little bit. They should still make you feel safe, but pay attention to everything else, okay? Remember, this idea that you are so intentional, you don't pay attention to your surrounding or the structure, which is why it is also bad to castigate marriage, because marriage creates a structure, right? So if you're just shooting marriage, that's one of the things that people still respect to a large extent, that makes them want to do the right thing. But you're shooting it, and you want to do anyhowness, right? Are you sure you know what you're asking for? I always ask you that question, right? Okay, so yes, you can still have unpredictability, varieties, the things that ginger you, a little bit of chaos, right? That makes you feel like you're actually living, right? But make sure that's done in controlled environments. In other words, stop trying to shoot down our structure. If there are parts of our culture that you don't like, speak out. We can have conversations about that. But culture is part of the ways that human beings create structure for themselves. It's a way of life. It's not something that people force, right? It's something that naturally happens because human beings are not your mate. Human beings are not animals. They create structure around themselves over time. We call it social construct, right? As we socialize, we create like balanced environment where we thrive. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, all perfect solutions also create new problems. So we must remain a student of all of this, right? We must continue to pivot. We must continue to what's the word I'm looking for? Continue to be open-minded to adjustments. You know, as a matter of fact, Uncle Beno and I were just having a conversation behind the scenes about being open to adjustments. There's no island of knowledge or wisdom, right? Being open for feedback. Okay, and there's nothing that we enjoy in this life. I was telling him, as an engineer in my regular life, I was telling him that we are aware that every perfect solution creates new problems because human beings no be your mate, right? So we must remain students of this. So emotional chaos can disguise itself as passion early on, and we break down how we personally have to learn, unlearn, relearn the pattern to build something real over time. Because at some point you have to decide, do you want a relationship that feels like a roller coaster? It's a question for you. Do you want a relationship that feels like a roller coaster, or one that actually moves your life forward? See, that's a question that when you answer that, right, you're taking your time to answer it, right? And the truth is that most people avoid the work required to actually answer that properly. Okay, the bad guy is not necessarily winning long term. That's the good news for you. Okay, he's just winning attention in the short term. But attention and commitment are two completely different currencies. Shout out to social currencies. Well, all the Megan Thee Stallion fans. Right? They're two completely different currencies. Long-term attraction is built on respect, emotional intelligence, and leadership. Okay? Partnership is a default. There's no work involved in partnership. All you have to do is have sex with someone, and you're now a partner. If God helps you have a child with them, you're now a partner for life. It might be a terrible partnership, but it's not a partner for life. Partnership requires, I'm talking about in romantic relationship, the existence of partnership requires no effort. Stop making it a competition between partnership and leadership. Okay? Or you can wait for 30 years from now, and then we'll come back to the conversation. Okay, so confusion, inconsistency, all those things long term will fall on their face. Okay, the emotional spikes are exactly what they are. They're spikes. Have you ever seen a graph before? Don't let me get into lecture mode. They're spikes. They're not stable. Okay, so when you see a pattern out there that feels like exciting, it's a trendy thing, don't get distracted. Okay, it's okay to be attracted. It's okay to feel a sense of attraction. It's okay to feel what do you call it? It's okay to feel gingered, right? You're a human being. It's natural. Okay, but understand the psychology behind it, because once you see it clearly, right, you stop competing with chaos. Okay, and yes, you should still be intentional. Like I always say, be intentional with respect to emotional intelligence. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with a question. Are women truly attracted to bad guys? Is that what we're talking about? Or agents of chaos? Or are they responding to psychological triggers, right, that most men don't even realize they're ignoring? You know, gentlemen, if you listen to this clearly, the idea is not to become a bad guy because you're a fake. Anyway, we know you're a Mr. Nice Guy. You're a lover boy. You want a woman who fell in love with you, or who falls in love with you, right? Who just loves to take care of you. That's what you want. The idea is to balance short-term needs with long-term needs. Okay, so you don't come and be crying to me later or jump on the internet and say somebody took advantage of you. I don't want you. I don't want you. Thank you, Uncle Beno, for the super chat. I appreciate you, sir. Uncle Patrick. Uncle Patrick said, Uncle Patrick, do you want me to drop the link? I can drop the link if you want. Let me drop it just in case. I'll wait another 5 minutes for you So sorry about that. People know they ask for my link, so I don't get used to RAM, you know. But if those of you that are Prestige family reminds me in the beginning, I will always drop it in the beginning. I always prioritize your opinions over mine because I want to learn. I want to see what you're thinking about. So I dropped the link if you want to jump in real quick. I'll say you are too religious. No, they leak plates. Hey, voila, Uncle Patrick. Wala. Problem tiwa, pressure tiwa. Pressure tiwa.
Everything I do, I will. Pressure tiwa.
Pressure tiwa. Toby and Try say, is it not better to go for the guy who is consistent but elicits positive excitement rather than negative excitement, e.g. a surprise romantic dinner versus not calling you for 3 days? Absolutely, Toby and Tribe, and I think we just delivered that game. That's the game we're talking about, Toby. You're absolutely on point. That's precisely what I'm suggesting. Like anything worthwhile in life, it is a balance. It is not a balance of opinions. This is where the internet is getting it wrong, okay? It's a balance of the actual variables that matters, okay? Our opinions are valid automatically, so there's no extra work needed in that. If you have a different opinion, it's already valid. Immediately.
You're right.
So even if you're pandering to me with your opinion, there's a real need to pander. Even if you're just presenting your best foot forward in that opinion, it also is valid, right? But when you start to dig in deeper, which is why we're talking about psychology, right, we get to the actual variables that matter, and those variables, we need to balance them, and that's when we come up with a solution that actually works for most people. And I can say for people, because even the exceptions are part of the rule, right? The exceptions are the exceptions for a reason, and they usually feel fulfilled or feel true to themselves when they are practicing or doing their own life. So there's no need to highlight them too much, right? But yes, you're absolutely correct. It's about balancing consistency and excitement. You can be overly consistent. Yeah, that's the real thing. You're too consistent, you're predictable, it is boring. But guess what most people will do? They turn around and will say it's bad character. They start blaming character. Abi you pick the wrong partner, abi you pick the wrong wife, or you have bad foundation. All those things can be true, but it doesn't really address most people's problems. Most people's problems are psychological in nature. It's not morals for the most part. Because if we truly have moral chaos, it will be a war zone. We'll be living in a war zone, and we don't. And you and I know we don't live in a war zone unless we want to lie to ourselves. We live in an era of choices, options. People have options, and they have the right to those options. So if you're not able to attract them, to keep them around you for a long time, it is what it is. You know. Hopefully, you dig long enough, dig deeper to find out what those reasons are. All right, it looks like Uncle Patrick is busy. Everybody's busy. Let's jump back to the rest of our product. Oh, he's here. Okay. Uncle Patrick, sir, how are you, sir?
Hey, hola.
I say what? Echo Jumeta, sir.
At the Sam's Club, they do price match for gas now.
That means you're a Sam's Club member, obviously.
Yes, I'm shopping for the cheapest gas. You see where our country gone rich now.
Oh wow, I'm so terrible at that. I should do better. I'm terrible at saving, you know. But that's a good way to save, sir.
I know you're doing a great job. I don't have much to say that. You're doing a very fantastic job. You know, like Riley said, most of our women. I'm not trying to throw women under the bus, but they're usually attracted to bad boys. Yeah, you can see the case of Churchill. I was even surprised that Rosie was saying, I didn't have that knowledge that this guy is a 419. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Lord.
She's a liar. Yeah.
I don't know. Tonto said it too. He said, does he have a job? What is his job? He said, it's a 419 that is broke right now. So most women, you know, like where we are from,
Ola, one lesson I've learned from this saga, I'm just going to say that real quick. As a parent, as a girl, get to know where your spouse is coming from. You know, in those days, in the Yoruba distinct,
Yes.
Tribidualarino. Look at Tonto was saying that he sold his clothes, his shoe, his mom. We don't even know. Maybe he did that for the mom. And the mom was sprayed out 2,000 naira. Maybe now all those born vita mother, when we say they don't care. Whatever their children bring, they go, you know, man, you need to know the family you are going to. That's a big lesson for me as a father too. Don't just bring any random somebody to my house like they usually say in America. You get to know where you are going to. A guy that does not have a source of livelihood. Yes, and you are just roaming with him. And 4 people came for the so-called nasty wedding. 4. You don't get family.
I know, right?
no go rent people come for my house. Allah, I'm serious. I'm paying tuition, paying dollars for my girls. Don't try that with me. I'm done with you as my daughter. 4 people came. Who been papa? Person when they lie say,
who is this person?
I beg. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
We're talking about marriage when you want to involve all your family. Don't just go and be one random guy that is a loser because he's tall, he has abs or whatever. Who cares? Is this guy going to be there for you? Don't come crying to my house that you're emotionally shattered. Let's face fact. As a parent and as a responsible guy, you went to school, did everything, have masters, have a good job, now won't go and bring because you want to marry. No, it doesn't make sense. Let's be sincere. You are talking about your son, 18, going to college soon and all that kind of, you know how much you have invested in them. Our children. It's a shame on Tonto. You saw all his clothes for him, Ashwebi. Maybe even gave him money for the dowry and all kind of stuff. Man, I don't want to even hear. I just look at this. What is wrong with these girls? With all your beauty and everything. Just go and fall into the hand of that wrong guy. It's better for them to stay alone and not bring chaos to their life. Thank you, Allah, for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the best way to wrap up today's show. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. Take care and God bless. Please help share the show. Thank you.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.